We can talk about the 13 Emmys that I'm 0 for 13. I'm the Black Susan Lucci. Yeah.
You make jokes, but does that suck?
Oh no, it doesn't. No,
it doesn't suck. You're okay with the nominations?
I'm okay.
Do they even give you a plaque? Is there at least something to
you
acknowledge?
get a certificate that acknowledges that you have been selected to be nominated.
But
and people are like, you should keep that certificate. I was like, for why?
It doesn't hit the same on the shelf.
No, it's like a participation trophy. I'm like, for why?
No. Well,
yeah.
I have in 97, what year was that? Ladies' Night, we got a Grammy nomination.
Okay, yes.
So I have, back then, Grammys, they give you at least a medallion.
Okay. It
looks like you ran a race.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't have a Grammy.
No, but you got a Grammy medallion.
But I have a medallion.
Yeah.
And I put it in a little case and it looks like something.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe it's all in the framing of the case. No. You deserve at least 5 of those Emmys.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that?
We all feel like that. We all feel like look, first off, we don't do what we do for the trophies.
Yeah.
You know, they're great to have on a mantle and you can brag about them and show them. But once you get them, they just sit there.
Yeah.
But no, that's not why I do it.
Yeah.
I just like talking about it though.
Does it humble you?
It does.
It does. You ain't all that. You ain't even win one of them Emmys.
You ain't got one.
You don't even have an Emmy. All that great television you did.
Yeah, all that. But it's good. But it's good.
Not everybody realizes how much that really was your show. I mean, we know it was your show as one of the stars and actor of the show, but you really at the inception of the show.
Well, Kenya Barris and I, we did. You know, we sat down at a table at this little restaurant on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood called Laurel Hardware. And we sat there and we talked about the landscape of television and what was missing from that landscape for us, he and I, what we like to see and what we missed from television. We were both and still are Norman Lear fans, so we talked about those shows we grew up watching. Good Times, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and then fast forward to Cosby, A Different World, and things like that. And we were like, those are the shows that we liked and we grew up on, and those are shows that had social commentary. Those were shows that had leading actors that were unapologetic in who they were and, had something to say. And, we sat there and we just talked about our families. And we had a lot in common. Kenya's from Inglewood. I'm from Compton. Both of us are first generation successful. Both of our families were living a privileged life. Both of us were the only African-American families in our neighborhoods. Our kids were in private school. We were one of few Black families in the private schools that we went to. So we were sharing these stories living independently of one another, but walking the same path. And we just talked about that. Yeah. And he was like, you know what, man? He's like, and he made the comment, he said, I feel like I went from raising a Black family to a Blackish family. And we started laughing. And at the end of our meeting, he called me a couple of weeks later and he was like, you know what, Aunt, I thought about what we talked about and I think I have a show for us and we should call it Blackish. And I was like, let's do it. And 8 years later, 173 episodes, 2 spinoffs. Yeah, here we are.
Wow. When you say what was the term you just said? First generation successful?
Mm-hmm.
What is that like?
Interesting.
Yeah, because a lot comes with that.
A lot comes with that. A lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of unwanted responsibility.
Yeah.
And just being in a position that other people take for granted. Family and friends. Well, you got it, so I got it. And it's like, yeah. For the most part, I have it, so we do have it, but I also worked for it, and it's not about me having it and being in the position to just give it away or give it to you or hand it over, because eventually if I continue to do that, I won't have anything for myself.
Have it. Right.
And then we will all be back at ground zero again. So it's a lot of adjusting.
Do you have a big family?
I have a big enough family.
Yeah.
I have 2 brothers and a sister. my mom, but then, at the time, a wife, 2 children of my own, aunties, uncles. So, and you feel a responsibility.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, this is my family. This is where I come from. So, it's somewhat of my responsibility to make sure that they are okay.
Yeah.
But then you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
After a while, and we all go through that with our success. And then, it's an adjustment period on both sides.
Yeah.
Of the family.
Right. Because they got to get to know this version of you.
Yeah.
Because you have to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
You're in this like leader position, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because when you think about, because you've been acting since childhood, when you think about child actors trying to find who they are in the world, sometimes that gets complicated. We hear plenty of stories about child actors who get lost because they never really grew properly out.
Yeah.
But you were a child actor and first generation successful.
Yeah.
There's a lot to kind of sort through to get to who you are and what makes you.
Well, I wasn't really a child actor. This was a dream that I had as a child, and was pursuing it since then. But
did you do a commercial at like 5?
It was later than that. But my mother had me on stage as a baby, so it actually was in my blood. It started young, so I was a child actor. Yeah, I'll take that back. I was.
You just weren't a successful.
Yeah, I just wasn't successful.
You weren't making any money.
Yeah, and something I want to add to that, about responsibility. I lost my dad, or we lost our dad, so I became the head of the household. You know what I'm saying? So I lost my pet. How old am I now?
How old were you then?
When I lost my dad, I was an adult, but it's been 30 years, 25 years now, but just losing the patriarch of the family, and then me being in the position that I am, then I just like, okay,
I got this.
I got to step in, I have to step in. So it's that adjustment as well. I am my mother's son, but in a weird way became my mother's partner and mate in a way, and just navigating that terrain and all that. So I just wanted to add that in and what we were talking about. It's
an interesting turn in life. Too. It's funny because we talk about on this show a lot of like the roles of women in family and stuff like that, but that role that you just described can be, I'm sure, heavy. Like there's a lot of responsibility in that.
Yeah, it is. It is right? Heavy as the head, the crown. Yeah. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. And I welcomed it. But it's a lot that comes along with that. Being the oldest child. Being my mama's baby. But also being her protector. You know what I'm saying? But also her son, and sometimes the roles shifted, and I felt, and sometimes to this day feel, that I can't come to my mother as a son.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just want to go lay my head in my mother's bosom and just be like, yo, the weight of the world is a lot right now, and I just want to come, be a child again, and just, it's that. It's that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and check out all of the other episodes we have on Angie Martinez IRL podcast.